Oh shit! Oh, I gotta put this up. I just realized this was live. Sorry about that for you guys who were watching there for a second with no video. I didn't realize it went live yet. It was loading. Yeah, I'm probably gonna take some profits off these. What's up? What's up? I'm gonna take some off these before this news comes out. Already taking some off Aussie. These are not just for you to just enter, so please don't. I have them on my screen, but I'm interested in how this news is gonna affect stuff. Nas is. I'm more interested in indices right now and stuff than crypto. I mean, I'm watching Ethereum here. We got what I wanted on Ethereum. I know the screens are small, but bear with me. We pushed up above this supply, this old supply that we reacted to last night. I didn't like it when I got up this morning. One of the first things you should do is always identify your session liquidity. And if you have equal highs, at one point we had just highs, but then here during the kill zone, we formed these highs right here. So that gives us that the buy side liquidity is being engineered. We can point. I personally sit on my hands. I'm not rushed. I'm not pressed to do anything, especially when we have high impact news coming out right now. Let's see. Let's see if this came out actually or not. Okay, so it was worse than expected. Okay. And that's going to be, it's consumer confidence. So that could have a negative impact on, I forgot not to feel like I don't want to log in, but that could have a negative impact on indices. So we're seeing also at this bearish price action, US dollar seems to be gaining some strength here. Because if we have lack of confidence, our consumer confidence, that's going to be bad for companies. That's bad for investors. Money, flows out of assets and into the US dollar. But yeah, I hope you guys are having a good morning so far. What I'm really watching for on ETH, the thing was with the 1 minute structure here, The original change of character was right there. I didn't like this sitting up here, like this wick, because I'm gonna put my stop up there, so I would have taken a trade here, but my risk to reward wasn't met because personally it would be just kind of like an intraday scalp, and entering right here, it just wasn't what I needed. Like that's not good enough. I mean, I know it's 3-1, I know, but I mean, I want a little more than that, but that's why I didn't take ETH. I've been on these shorts since way earlier this morning. Taking some off of these already. And then also for those of you who are trading forex with me, these CAD yen, they still look good. I'll go over that in full in a second. I'm kind of just monitoring because I'm in some trades right now, so you guys are gonna have to bear with me as far as the live TA and stuff goes, just for 1 minute. Also said somebody said, so what about the index release? That's going to have an effect on markets. Any kind of high impact news that has anything to do with the US dollar is going to cause disruption in all markets. 100 every single time. If you have high impact news, like the Fed testimony, we have Jerome Powell speaking to Congress. If you have PPI, inflation, interest rate, FOMC meeting, all that shit's going to cause disruption. Not only in markets denominated by the dollar, but in markets that have any substantial size, because the US dollar, you gotta remember, is the reserve currency of the world. So when we see strength in it, also I posted about this in the Discord as well. Or not, Forex section. Once you see this kind of price action before this news, there's a reason that we're starting to see that bullish shift. The DXY, for those of you who don't know, that's the US dollar index. And yes, you can chart it just like everything else. We have this 15-minute swing range. It was bearish, right, leading up to the news, but then you got to remember that 4 hours still pretty, or the daily is still bullish, not the 4 hour. I do want to see a little bit of a lower move, but uh, the dollar is very strong right now, so that's going to be, causing insane disruption across markets. God damn, this fucking MT4 is busting right now. God damn, good morning. Fuck yeah. We need to start getting. I'm gonna start fucking around the indices with you guys right now. Another thing to keep in mind whenever we have these kind of financial conditions where the macroeconomics are, we're at these points of unsurety. God damn, this shit is fucking paying right now. But when we have these kind of economic factors that are causing a lot of unrest, and there's just a lot of uncertainty, indices are going to be very very volatile, because you got to remember, this is basically you're trading some of the biggest companies in the country. So if we have uncertainty among huge investors, then it's going to be sorry, I was reading. So it's going to be a huge deal, and that'll slowly disrupt all markets. But everything will be kind of illiquid because there's a lot of money flowing in and out of the indexes or indices. Sorry. Good shit. So yeah, we'll watch Nas on a little bit of a higher time frame. I'll go back to ETH over here. Maybe let's watch Bitcoin. Bitcoin still hasn't given me what I wanted, to be honest. I mean, we did remove some buy side here. I could see us. This POI also is valid here on a lower time frame, because we know these lower time frame break structure occurred. So for those of you that look at this candle and you say, "Oh, there's no break of structure after it," well, you're absolutely right as far as this time frame. But remember when we're using a fractal perception of something, which means we're looking at a high time occurrence to tell us something that's happening in the lower time frames, then you know that we don't have to have a higher time frame break structure. But we know that somewhere in here there was a break of structure where there's a 5 minute or the 1 minute, and right here it was the 5 minute right there in this area right there, and the true supply was actually high up in this candle. And that's how you can refine stuff from a practical perspective, because here, where was your first sign of weakness? It was right there, because that was a low, got taken. You have that supply right there, and then let's see, did price even come up into that? It didn't even come up into this yet. I don't know. I'm not really super. I mean, I guess you could look at this as well, because that caused another break of structure. I guess I would have looked here, but the price action on crypto, which is nothing new, is not really the greatest right now for what I'm trying to do, at least with Bitcoin and Ethereum. I want to wait until it provides us that. Ethereum did raid the highs, but it didn't really provide a lower time frame structure that I wanted. This looks like could be some 3 drive action going on here. I'll watch it on a revisit up into this zone. Let's see what we get into. Let's see on the 1 minute what this looks like. I just watch really all of this right here. I'll watch Ethereum here. Now it's starting to give me more of what I want, but I just want to see more bearish price structure form in this area, because I like when we have the spread between the internal structure and the 5 minute. I don't really use the 5 minute for much, except whenever the 1 minute's really choppy. But we have this pretty big, push down, and then we have to go way higher. We have to go up here. We have a clear invalidation point. It's also, an inside bar. And see, we found that on the 1 minute. But look how it comes out to an inside bar. This zone right here is what I'm eyeing, and then also really up in this area. But just I'll mark the whole zone because we're on the 1 minute. If we can get price up in this area, and then it can maintain bullish or bearish price structure on a 1 minute while maintaining bearish structure on a 5 minute, after we've rated the intraday liquidity. That's why I say my. Oh, hold on. Let me turn my VPN off. I just realized it was on. That way you guys get a bit better quality. Should be good. Thanks for letting me know that, Johnny. I always fucking forget if I have my Binance open. Yeah, here with Ethereum, that's kind of what I'm waiting for. If I don't get that, I won't take a trade. Once we get these nice moves like this right before, high impact news, we're removing that buy side. All the early shorts got trapped or removed from the market, and longs were induced. Now there's longs trapped up here. And we also came into this POI. We rated this liquidity here, so we removed a lot of liquidity. So, you can get these kind of quick intraday movements like that. But we just got to watch for all the signs we need, because liquidity rates sometimes when they're with news like this, as far as the models that I use. Yeah, I took off some of Nas. CAD JPY. I like this setup a lot right now. I've been kind of missing some of these yen denomination shorts. So once you start to see bearish price structure form across, or at least not necessarily bearish high time frame structure yet, but you start to see those signs of weakness on the everything against one pair. Like for instance, if everything against USD looks like a short, and there's a lot of buy side liquidity being engineered in front of points of interest, and then you see that point of interest get rated, it's kind of like the stars are aligning at that point. You don't ever want to just bet the farm on anything because of that, but it can add in some confidence to your TA whenever it's aligning with the news before it happens. So that was kind of my logic with a couple of these trades. And also with the yen, with the growing economic unrest, you'll have more and more power within the yen and other world reserve currencies like the franc and the yen, and especially Japanese bonds. Which actually, I wonder. I'm just actually curious if they had an effect, if anything had an effect yet. No, I wonder if it will have an effect today, because a lot of times you'll see these bonds move a lot, and Japanese bonds have been extremely becoming extremely more volatile. I mean, this is really insane for bonds, honestly. To be moving, I think they're moving like 90% in a day. But what it is a lot of money is flowing into the Japanese economy in the form of risk-off assets, and the reason for that is their central bank basically, in their own way, insures Japanese bonds to they back them. I should say it's the simplest way to put it in short terms. But once you see the world in kind of an unrest state, that's whenever you will see this kind of stuff happen. And that's why the yen's been losing a lot of strength, because a lot of money's been going into these bonds because other countries are buying them. So it's a safe haven asset. But just like everything, we're going to have to see the yen kind of cool off, because it's everything against the yen isn't flying, whether it's GBP, especially USD JPY. That shit is just absolutely parabolic. Like, let's just look at the weekly here. Yeah, it's insane. It looks like a Bitcoin chart. But yeah, so I always kind of keep an eye on some of these bonds. I don't trade bonds, but I do like to do asset class analysis where we can see where the money flow is, if it's moving from metals, commodities, if it's moving in indices. You'll be able to tell sometimes how the world is reacting to either the current economic state or anticipation of the future economic state. If you start to see a lot of volatility in indices and bonds, usually whenever I say volatility in indices, in this example, I would mean bearish. And then you start to see risk-off assets like crypto start to take really big hits. That's whenever you can determine that you know the big dogs are kind of going into a little bit more of a risk off or conservative stance. So just a little macro for you there. Yeah, FTMO doesn't even require you to not hold through that last news that we just had. Like, you could have held through that. There's oil news today too, which will probably also cause some disruption. I'm gonna watch and just I'm kind of more curious about that. Um, but let me see what it was. Where is it? Crude oil inventories. So so I said, look, 1 minute. I'm not sure what you meant by that. I'm trading way more stuff at once this morning than I usually do, but I'm really starting to move more and more focus towards indices and forex at this point. I wish Discord did not make a noise every time somebody joins and leaves. It's the only thing I don't like about Discord. Everything else is great. Yeah, I would just wait till we get up in this area for Ethereum. Unfortunately, I'm gonna go out of the house for a bit, edit after the stream's over, so I'll be taking a lot of my positions off the table, and then also I won't be able to watch. I'll try to keep you guys updated, but One rule I've made to myself is I never really trade unless I'm at my desk. I don't like it. I used to be like that. I used to always be on my phone. Like you'd catch me like driving and I'd have an alert. Somebody said, "Can we check pound dollar?" Yeah, I was actually looking at it this morning. Let's see how it reacted. It came into some demand. I'm still waiting on it. Let's see. I need to move my internal structure. So I had this marked. It might give me what I need. I don't know if I'll be watching, but see, we've been talking about this for a while in the Discord. Um, not really talking about it, but I posted this a while, I should say. And we're back down on this demand zone way back over here. So I personally, the 15 minutes of in bearish price structure, can I deactivate? Oh, I can deactivate the sounds of joining. Wow, like a fucking boomer with Discord. Hold on, how do I do it? Settings and notifications, and I can turn it off while streaming. Wow, that's fucking goated. I don't know why I didn't think of that. I'm gonna do that really quick. But with pound dollar, I want to see a 15-minute internal break of structure. I'm gonna trade. It's counter trend to me, so you know, um, some internal structure to go bullish before I just take the 1 minute, because the 1 minute will give you entries, and then you'll look back and say, oh, there was a 1 minute entry right here. But oftentimes in situations like these, you're gonna get liquidated a couple times, like right there. Like there was probably a 1 minute entry here. There was. It looked good. You got in right here. Oh, I set a limit. Your hype pumps, and then what happens? You kind of get impatient. It just takes you out. That's just because the 15-minute has yet to switch bullish. That's how you can save yourself. I shouldn't say it's really because. Okay, so notifications. Thank God. Viewer join, viewer leave. There we go. Thank God. Okay. Good shit. I appreciate that. But yeah, for pound dollar, I do like the setup overall though. Ideally I want to see a push down into this demand zone. Oh, I just saw somebody. I was in the Reef game Discord. It's like an NFT project. It's actually kind of cool, but I just kind of know some people in network in there. But it's funny when you run into somebody on Discord, like from your home server, and you run into some completely random server that there's no reason for you to both be in. I mean, like you haven't talked about it at least. So we're starting to see this slow, steady bearish price action on CAD yen, but I'm pretty confident in this one. It's counter trend to a lot of time frames, but it's everything's kind of aligned for me at least. Because if we go on the 4 hour, we're here's my swing. Like this is one of those weird ones. Like it's like, is that a pullback or not? For me, it was 70 pips. To me, that's a pullback. I may be being aggressive. For the 4 hour, because if we see back here, we have these kind of like short pullbacks. I just kind of look at the standard deviation and normal move of something. And while a lot of pullbacks are bigger, we do have a lot of stuff that I would look back and clearly consider a pullback. It just is kind of not relative to this big move we just had. So at that point, that gives me bearish price structure here. And regardless, even if we have bullish price structure, like this was the high, we're anticipating this is the higher low. I still would take this as a little counter trend trade. I'll trim off heavier because of this, because it's kind of one of those weird ones. But for me, the 4 hour would be bearish here because we got to break structure there, and then these would be weak lows. But another thing that accessorizes that perspective is that we have these equal lows right here, relatively equal, and also building up on the lower time frames to the upside. But I'm kind of playing off this. We took out this high, and we're in this zone up here. And the 15-minute definitely gave us some bearish price action right there. It's also giving us more bearish price action right here. So now we're kind of, we haven't really flipped demand into supply as far as our immediate inefficiency goes. So theoretically right now, we haven't really reversed in people's eyes, but once we take out this newly formed demand, that would be a flip on the lower time frames because price came up, we took out the low, right? So we took out a low right here. So we had supply to go back up into, and then what had to push us there? Low time frame demand found within this wick or this inside bar. I just go with the wick just to be safe because I'm not going to go in and dissect it because I'm not really using it for an entry. I just know that the low needs to be broken. So once the second low is broken, I know that supply was introduced, right? And then not only was introduced because the only way we have introduction of supply is through a break of structure, but once price returned to this supply, there were orders there that pushed price down below the newly introduced demand. It pushed us back up into this zone. Somebody asked what the Discord channel is. It's actually, if you look in the banner in the bottom of the video, it's playbit.info. That's the website you would use to sign up, or it's just playbit.gg for the Discord. I think that still works, but the all that's in my bio as well on Twitter. Should be on YouTube. Pound dollar though, I'm not convinced because right now we know that the dollar just had some strength. We definitely had some strength going to the dollar there. Now, if it will sustain or not, who knows? But pound yen or pound dollar, I'm pretty conservative with this one. I want to see a break of structure here. I want to see all inefficiencies filled, and just kind of an ideal setup if I'm going to take it, just because it is kind of counterintuitive to the current strength of the dollar. And that's an easy check sometimes. If you want to be even more confident and stuff, just look at the dollar. Like if you're trading anything Forex against the USD or really any asset, but especially Forex, just look at DXY and like what is it telling you? You can do TA on it just like everything else. Now, sometimes this TA will get violated if you have some crazy news or something, but you can look at it to tell how much strength is the dollar gaining. And while it is based off of 6 currencies because we're a reserve currency, it still is going to be able to give you immediate bias. Like if you see something like this, usually you'll see this in markets, anything denominated by a dollar. This isn't over here, but you'll even see volatility in any pair really, because like I said before, the United States currency is kind of the world's reserve currency in a way, so. And somebody said, was a good change to short in it? I'm new in trading, trying to understand the influence of indexes in crypto. I just now saw that, but I'm guessing I answered the question kind of because you said thank you, and I've kind of touched on it. Let's see. Doesn't seem like she wants to come back. We'll see though, because now, I mean, even the 5 minutes still bearish all the way up there, even if we just started to pump directly back up. Now we've removed some of this sell side. Usually I will say around this time when you see these kind of raids, right, wrong tool. When you see these kind of raids around this time, a lot of the time we will see a reversal. A lot of the time, but I'm not sure if this is going to be one of those times or not. I think this might have been the raid. It looks like it. Usually it happens a little differently though. But a lot of times on indices, I would just look for a swing high after swing high and swing low after 8 a.m. like in this zone, and then you see which one gets violated first and watch for reversal under it. So you could see that here, but that news is today is a little different than always. You know, it is nice to see liquids into news. Don't get me wrong, but it's you got to take it with a grain of salt, especially when we have another higher time frame liquidity raid like this right here, and we know our immediate bias right now is bearish for most everything, as far as crypto and um, indices, everything goes right now. You know, our immediate bias is very bearish, so it's like, you know, especially seeing shit like this right here, that kind of liquidity raid. Getting a nice move on NOS here. Yeah, see, that's the thing. Like, you'll get a lot of trades. Like, for instance, there was a beautiful trade on NOS, beautiful trade on Aussie dollar. CAD yen's a little different than the other ones, but see these lick rates on. This is why, for those of you in the Discord that are, you know, just trading crypto, I kind of recommend to branch out a little bit. You know what I mean? Because you're not gonna get if you're trading smart money and you're trading, um, you know, a lot of the ways that I do, you're not gonna get as good at setups. Like, look at this. You can't like there was no displacement here on even on the 1 minute. Um, there just really wasn't a good trade, in my opinion, for shorts here. But price did, you know, what we needed it to do. But it's like with crypto, you kind of got to trade, you know, maybe the 15 minute, and it's just like even then, you know, a lot of times you just don't get those setups, you know. So for those of you that are wondering why I've been doing forex a little bit more lately, that's why. It's exactly stuff like that because you look, there's beautiful trades all across the market. Crazy day right now with indices and forex, and you know, crypto is also moving. It's moving a lot, but it's just not giving very precise setups. God damn, this shit is fucking printing. Yeah, and this was all posted this morning. The NOS setup, and I posted on Twitter for you guys that are watching on Twitter. I posted the NOS setup exactly what I thought I was gonna do. Um, Same with yen. Yen hasn't really been moving as crazy. I could expect some volatility tonight in the Asia session. Fuck yes. Aussie dollar is doing that. I bet gold is melting right now. It's actually not yet as much as I thought it would, but this is probably gonna fucking melt. Usually with that kind of news, you'll see gold fucking melt, but it's kind of delayed. I'm taking a little more off Aussie dollar here. Fuck yes, man. There we go with CAD yen too. Let me post this up for my group really quick. You guys can unmute your mics. Everybody's being quiet as shit today. I haven't heard one fucking person talk. Yup. Now we're up like 32 pips or so on CAD yen in the server. So fuck yeah, we caught that this morning. We caught it once and then we closed one at break even because I didn't like the price action. It reversed like I thought it would. It filled the imbalance. Here, just so you guys can see this on YouTube, so you know I'm not capping. So right here, this is Forex Analysis channel. We had one short right here. Right, we took a short, saw a little bit of gains, and then we cut it right at break even because I saw those signs of reversal. And then we took more sells right up here, 106, 119, just so you see that. I know some people are watching, like there's a lot of people out there that are just complete bullshitters on Twitter and YouTube. So yeah, and there we go. It's dropping. What's that now? 33 pips, baby. Good fucking Tuesday, guys. Yeah, Aussie dollar almost at full TP for me. I'll just take it in full there. I'm not going to be greedy. That's what I'm fucking talking about. If you guys got anything you want to look at now, I can do that. I'm gonna go ahead and cut Aussie dollar, and yeah, I'll look at 1 inch. Somebody just messaged me and asked me that. Give me 1 second. I'll execute this trade really quick. You spoke in the stream? I didn't hear you say anything. I wish somebody would speak. I get lonely. No, I'm just fucking with you guys. No, but for real, usually people talk a little bit. Where the fuck is everybody that's actually on mute? I know a lot of you guys, some of you at work and shit, but oh, you said sorry, can't speak. No, you're fine. It's fine. I'm just kind of messing with you guys. Oh, it says you can't. You should have perms. If you're in the, you have to go to your settings. I don't have you muted. I'm looking at you right now. You're not muted. Adaliki. All right. Closed Aussie dollar for, let's just see, I closed it out right here. So it was about 9R. Fuck yeah. I took some partials, so it's probably came in like 6R secured. Why do I have CAD yen up twice? What the fuck? Anyways, I'm good for right now. I'm not gonna probably chase anything else. So, somebody said 1 inch first. Weekly's bearish. No sign of pullback. Daily seems signs of pullback, but so you want to. I always like to the weekly. I know is bearish, so I'm gonna. You can mark out your weekly high and low. Here, I put this over here so I can actually see it. You can always mark these. Just so you're aware of it. It doesn't hurt. So that way you know your weekly range. We know we're bearish. At some point you could expect a pullback, but we haven't seen the change of character on the weekly chart yet. Really, we'd have to break that swing structure in the daily. As we went over in the classes, the daily swing structure is oftentimes the weekly internal structure, and we see that in this example. So the daily swing range is also bearish. So in order for us to have any kind of higher time frame momentum, we would want to see a break of structure in the daily, really, at this point, for any kind of extended, mini bull run. We have removed a ton of liquidity here. I don't know if this is all-time low. We're on perps, but I do know that there's going to be liquidity there. We already removed that and swept that again, but still no signs of strength, really. The daily has given signs that it is pulling back already, way down here. That break of structure there. Never really came back down into the zone. That's why this is a great example of why I don't like alts, because you don't get good price action. Like for instance, you didn't even come back here because there's so many different feeds with this. It's volatile, so you really never came where I would have taken any longs as far as off the daily chart. But pretty big fair value gap down here that needs to be filled right there. Demand under it. You could watch this zone if you come back down to it for sure. Like I would pay it attention, but remember the dailies, uh, maybe for some intraday stuff, but the daily is bearish. So you have a break of structure here, daily high, daily low, and then we're looking for POIs around equilibrium or above it to catch the next move down. So I look right here, and I know these aren't um, down or up candles, but see right here, there's this demand zone. We know that inside bar before any kind of break of structure, excuse me, is going to give us newly introduced demand. So and also yeah, blue chip, that forex shit's printing, bro. But here we have this demand. So I look, where did we pause before this? And then came up here, kind of paused, pushed through it. So for me, wait, wrong tool. For me, there's going to be some kind of interest near this institutional candle, the last candle before displacement or fair value gap. So I'm going to look on the 4-hour and see if I can find something in there. Really just this whole area, but it's sloppy. Again, this is why I don't even pay attention to this kind of stuff. I'm looking at it and I will do it. I don't mind to do it. I'm not trying to be a dick like that, but I'm just saying I wouldn't trade this. And I advise you to find. There's everybody wants to trade alts because they think there's like higher gains, but if you can refine your risk to reward, you can get amazing, like insane fucking gains off of Bitcoin or Ethereum or even fucking indices or forex. But um, that's my 2 cents on it. This daily zone, you came up into it. If I'm in a daily zone, personally, just using the 15 minutes kind of aggressive. You know, I guess you have it on a 4-hour zone, but it's not really refined. If this was just a 4-hour zone, I'd be cool taking shorts there. It's like that. But for me, the price action is not really there because the 4-hour zone can't be really identified. Like, where did we, maybe you can now. Let's see where we bounced off of. But it's like, okay, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just not it, man. For me, the last supply zone was right here, but that would have got valid because this isn't supply because, we were just continuing and down internal leg. So for me, I wouldn't trade it, but I would watch for a 4-hour because if I'm on the daily, I need a 4-hour internal break of structure, which would be all the way down here. Unless we kind of make another little like pause here, close like this, and then make it a little high, then you'd have a low. You take out that low, then you're starting to give me that what I need because I basically just need if I'm in a higher time frame POI, I need the lower time frame to change character. That just to keep that simple. But yeah, so immediate bias. I mean, you're 15 minutes still, I guess, theoretically bullish here, but you look weak. You're probably coming down at least into this zone, or take these lows. I'm just not really confident in the setup because the 4-hour is still bullish internally, and most likely on a swing level too. Yeah, it is on a swing level. So to me, like I wouldn't be shorting this, but I just wouldn't be touching it right now. Yeah, somebody in the comments said, "Dude, just short BTC." I'm not sure if you. I hope you're just saying like, instead of alts. I don't know if you meant to like literally short Bitcoin right now, but if you mean just to trade Bitcoin, that's the way I would do it too. I haven't looked at Cardano in a little while. I know that it's honestly probably the better looking of any major chart on 4-hour. I mean, we still never even broke out of the swing range we started before Bitcoin broke under 28K. I mean, this looks good. This looks better than most charts. I know that also Hoskinson, the founder of Cardano, and he's kind of like their like cult leader, if you will, of all the the people that are fanboys of Cardano, he has been doing a lot of talks with like government officials, and he's been doing a lot of keynote speeches. Not like just little conventions and shit. It's like with in front of like Congress and stuff like that. Um, but and meeting with a lot of members of Congress. So so I don't know if something's going on because usually whenever you see accumulation like this, I mean, this looks good. I will say Cardano looks good, but I haven't really been paying it too much mind because you're starting to see that desire to want to go up. These lows are getting manipulated, but that's followed by breaks of structure. So as you can say that we're kind of rating the liquidity out of the market. Um, I mean, this shit looks not bad at all. It really doesn't look bad. I mean, it's still bearish in the 4 hour for me, but I'm not trading it. But the 4 hour, like if crypto wasn't where it's at, and I think where everything's kind of like volatile, and I was buying equity, this would be some equity I'd buy. But I'm not personally. But you look better than almost all of crypto on a daily chart. This looks like it has taken its beating, of course, but it's this current local range. It's consolidating. It's finding value at least in some form. But the daily range is still very bearish, but we still have a big um, range to go back up, and we seem like we're kind of a lot of sell side liquidity or buy side liquidity up here, right above these highs. But you're starting to give those signs you might want to go back to the upside. So I mean, this is really the big zone I would watch right here. This massive daily order block, 76 cents. But I mean, you still got a long ways to go. Yeah, and ZP, I agree too, 100%, bro. You're good too. You always be peeping shit that I've either looked at or because we've been talking about this a little bit. How Cardano is just like in its own world. But somebody just said XTZ. I hate to cut it short. This is gonna be the last one I do. Like I was saying earlier, I gotta go look at some cribs. Me and my girl are moving, so holy fuck. I haven't done TA on XTZ in a while. It's funny how like this is so clunky. I was on a different computer with a different smaller screen. Or a laptop, I guess, not a computer. So I haven't looked at XTZ in a while. Bearish weekly structure. I mean, just like everything else in crypto, you got a fucking massive range. It's really not even worth drawing. Just know you're bearish. We haven't started to give signs of a pullback yet. And here's that weekly internal high. Good daily chart. That's going to also be your daily swing high, as it most always is. Break a structure there. We know the daily is bearish. So you can go ahead and throw your fib on there, look for POIs at or above equilibrium. So for me, I would just look at this whole range up here on a lower time frame because it's right after this, all the imbalances are filled. You also have these imbalances. So, this can be thought of as a POI as well. You could just fill this and reverse 100%. But I'm going to 4 hour now at this point. Why is my fib hidden on a 4 hour? It shouldn't be. TradingView has been so wonky with a lot of shit. Like my alerts will go off and it's literally just like not there. Like I'll have an alert and like it'll just ding and price is like 100 pips away from it. Hasn't been even remotely close to it. Like one alert dinged for fucking Bitcoin that the only alert I had was like way up and I was like, wait, I woke up and I was like, what the fuck's going on? And then it's just not even correct. You could just mark this whole zone right here, actually. This is a supply zone. You got a big supply zone. We haven't refined it, so I'd probably expect maybe a little more upside. Ideally, I'd want like up here. Oh, I did hit that. If you really wanted to be picky, you could pick this inside bar. But I mean, you did come into supply. You've started to show those very clear signs of weakness. You had that change of character right there. You look at the supply that sent you there. I would have said it was in this wick. So, you came down, filled that up, and then, I mean, if you look right off of it, so it looks, there's clean short opportunity there this morning. This is actually better looking than a lot of stuff. Yeah, pretty clean opportunity there. I still almost would want it to come eventually, like before you really like start to make that massive move down. I would want it to come up into this candle, but you have to stay in mind too that daily pullback still seems like it could be in motion. Did get a break of structure in the 4 hour over there, so now your new 4 hour range is going to be right there. So I would be looking at this as a very this low right here would be like fully out of profits on any kind of short you took up here, and I would be taking profits along the way. But this would be like really with counter trend trades. When you're going against a 4 hour trend, just trade at the next unmitigated demand. Don't be greedy, especially if there's lows right near it. And that's more than enough of a move if you caught that. Yeah, I appreciate you guys as well. Somebody said not crypto related, but markets move similar. Could you do some analysis on ES1? Yeah, I could do it really quick. I've been doing NAS. You look like shit. I'll tell you that just off rip. We rated all or buy side liquidity right there. Maybe above this 4 hour high too. Not really the greatest POIs here. If you did fill this massive gap, so you could consider that your point of interest. It's not supply, but you rated this right here. You're going for, are these equal? I would look for this before I'd long anything right there. You could also, if you're in puts or shorts or whatever, if you're trading it, you could also take some off, like just in this candle if you want to be safe, like be conservative. Really, the demand's probably down here, but that's how but I mean, you could also swing these, in my opinion. You could take some off and then, hold the rest, but you know, ideally I would have wanted this zone. But on that note, guys, I'm gonna hop off here. I appreciate you all coming through. If you have any questions, just tweet me, at me, message me on Discord. If not, I will see you guys tomorrow. Until then, stay safe out there. Oh, DJ.